Hey, what's up, guys? I'm coming at you right now from the apartment from hell, in which we're still being attacked by clear groupings of agencies that are doing this quite illegally. I'm being assaulted with frequency guns and apparently radiation guns now. They have a constant sound in the background of my apartment because they feel that they can get away with anything because I've been talking about this for such a long time and nobody's done anything at all to do anything about it. The FBI is not helping, all this stuff. So I'm still sitting here, and they're still just fucking attacking me. They have me shadow banned from the entirety of the internet. They love making jokes when they attack me. They think it's fucking priceless. They can't not make jokes. It's because they're evil clowns. Literally evil clowns. So you'll notice here, today we're going to talk about walls. Now, the reason we're going to talk about walls is because, and by walls I mean a metaphor for a wall. The reason we're going to talk about walls is because as all of this has been going on in my life, what I have been met with while all this has been happening has been basically a giant wall. Now, this wall is created by the system. It's created by the people who operate the system, and if you're in league with the system, you can trap people behind your wall. Just like any group of rich assholes hiding behind a moat or a castle wall, literally just to keep the peasants out. Fuck them, right? So we're going to talk about the modern day walls that they have up right now. And this, I was going to make this video already. This isn't because this just happened, but this did just happen, so we're going to explain it a little bit. And I'm not going to be very nice to this platform, because this platform is not nice to anybody else. So I'm on Reddit here, on an account that may or may not be mine. I just have access to it. I don't know. I'm just kind of examining this. For all I know, somebody else created this and hacked into it, and it just popped up on my browser. There's really no way to prove it. I'm sorry. So, regardless of that, there seems to have been a post that this person or this account seemed to have posted earlier today, in which somebody on Reddit, one of the mods, more likely one of the people who is following me around and monitoring me, if it was me who posted this anyway, always got to keep that arm's length distance away from anything, just for, shits and giggles, let's say. This account was banned because of a comment that was deemed threatening of violence. Now, I'm going to tell you what comment that was. So, after going down Reddit, scrolling through Reddit, seeing people defending Donald Trump posting an excessively and blatantly racist AI video in which Barack and Michelle Obama are shown as monkeys. And there was a post that was actually another man who was telling people, hey, why are you all so sensitive? It's so funny. It's funny. Smile. Why aren't you smiling? Try laughing once in a while. And meanwhile, there was a comment that tried to be put on this post that was basically asking this man who was making this comment if he knew how many people had died because USAID funding was canceled, which Elon Musk and Doge is being deposed for right now. It's in the hundreds of thousands, if not nearing the millions at this point. And I was going to, make a comment saying that's fucking hilarious, right? Very sarcastically. That's not the comment that did this. Mind you. So the comment that happened to be made on this account, which once again, I'm not claiming that I even made this comment. The comment was about a post in which, I don't even know if we'll be able to see it here. Let's see if we can find the literal thing that was said here. Yeah, so it was removed by Reddit. So this popped up. An AI startup founder says he's planning a march for billionaires in protest of California's wealth tax. And let's scroll down here. Now let's look at all of these things. Bro, let them gather all in one place. Hilarious, right? It's funny. Smile and laugh. Come on, billionaires. What's wrong? Anyway, so a comment may or may not have been made on here referencing a certain confined space in which a group of billionaires in recent news memory happened to go down to try to visit a certain shipwreck, and it happened to not go so well. So a comment was made, maybe by me, maybe by somebody else accessing the account. Who knows? Once again, you can't prove anything. Made a comment about this, basically saying the same thing as this. Basically the same thing. And about 10 minutes later, this is after being blocked from posting that comment about you said, literally a glitch happened. Please, sorry, try again. Please, sorry, try again. This comment was made on this post, and the account was apparently banned for 3 days. And I just have one question before we get into the actual Reddit part of this and the wall part of this. Laugh, guys. Why aren't you smiling? It's funny. People dying is funny, isn't it? Why are you so serious? Wow. Oh, man. You guys gotta relax. It was just a couple of billionaires, not like hundreds of thousands of innocent people who needed aid from America that Elon Musk basically murdered in cold blood, knowingly. Anyway, so this account has been used on Reddit, maybe by me, maybe not by me. If it was, it would have been because something or somebody has been attacking me in my own apartment, attacking me, surrounding me in other apartments around the area, ignoring me on purpose, human rights violations in real time with frequency weapons that are highly illegal, that they use in war measures to attack foreign diplomats, and things that shouldn't be done on civilian soil whatsoever. So a lot of the time as this is happening, I may or may not go on Reddit, because what is the point of doing anything rewarding these people by, let's say, making artwork, or responding to their abuse and torture by giving them something that they're just appropriating somewhere else, whether it's into an AI algorithm or whether they're appropriating it through weird coincidence into one of their other artists who is shilling for them, who they support, who is basically enabling this entire system to exist. Why would I fucking feed into that? Why would anybody feed into it if they knew what they were doing and they weren't pure fucking evil? Why would anybody do that? Who knows? So, I may or may not have found myself on Reddit a lot. Now, a lot goes through Reddit. Reddit pulls things from all over the internet. That's one of the reasons it's such a good fucking wall for these people. So you can hop on Reddit, and we will go through this account, and I specifically logged on here because this account would have a history in which the algorithm has responded or generated responses to a certain let's say, viewpoint, right? So I could have just gone on the open Reddit, but it would have been less targeted until I started doing things or doing something for it to actually target me for. You know what I mean? So we have found ourselves on this account because it is very blatantly being shadow banned. It's very blatantly being targeted. It's very blatantly, whatever is behind the algorithm is well aware that this account is not a fan of their fascist dictatorship. It's not a fan of white supremacy. It's not a fan of anything the government is really doing right now, which most people fucking aren't. That's just how it is. So this account, Reddit knows this account. So we're going to go through this, and I'm just going to try to explain what a wall is and what that means as an experience for people who may not be familiar with it, who may still use social media normally, or who may not understand just how manipulated these platforms actually are. But we're on basically the most manipulated platform that fucking exists right now. And one of the big reasons for that is because Reddit doesn't really vet the people who sign up for it. There's no real rules that you need to be a real person. It's quite easy to make fake accounts. It's quite easy to make 20 accounts with a random email. It's quite easy to create bot farms and target things. You'll notice they have a voting up and down system. The vote system and the comment system is actually mostly what controls you, what you see on this app entirely. And the thing is, you'll notice, and I'm just going to go down the numbers here. We'll go into the popular feed. You'll notice the numbers here. So 2.4K, 700 upvotes, 700 upvotes. And I'm sure you'll notice some very funky stuff going on in our feed. I'll point that out before we start looking at this here. So you'll notice this. 2.7, 2.6. So but the popular feed is heavily controlled by the upvotes and the ticks and how fast they're getting upvotes or how fast they're getting downvotes, stuff like that. So what you have to think about is not that these are actual votes. You just need to think about how many bot accounts can feasibly be created and generated by one bot farm at any moment in time. And you can then add those bot farms together. You can then conglomerate them into some sort of giant, massive army. It is not difficult at all for these, especially AI companies, to create bot farms with tens of thousands of users. Tens of thousands of fake accounts, random accounts, all leaving comments, all upvoting. They all have the same capabilities, right? There is no way to know any of this is real. There is no way to prove any of this is actually people. Like, you can go to their accounts, you can look into them, you can try going down their social media holes, you can try to figure out, is this a real person, blah, blah, blah. But even that can be faked and manipulated. And most of the bot farms nowadays, they have things that validate them more closely related to people. They've been doing this for years. Not like a year or two. They've been doing this for like decades with bot farms. People are just now realizing that they're doing it. They've been doing this for a long fucking time. Facebook's been doing it. Meta Platforms is doing it. Fucking X. All the platforms have bot accounts on them that flow through the web platforms, and they fucking manipulate things. And if you don't look too far into stuff, you'll notice that they actually are creating what's going viral. They are fabricating what is trending. They are completely manipulating the entirety of the platform. So if they don't like somebody, they can follow them around, literally just have their profile open, and they can follow the post that they go on, and they can send their bot army onto any singular post that they create, and they can downvote it into oblivion. And they do this. It's not even difficult for them. It's really not difficult at all for them, actually. And it gets even easier every single day because all they have to do is run AI prompts. They build more bots. They're building bots faster than they're getting banned. They're blending in more with people as time goes on. So you can't fucking trust any of this shit. And I'm going to point out, too, as somebody who operates and owns and has designed a website and a platform that it's not exactly comparable to this because I don't have the user base. But then again, I'm also not fabricating a bunch of AI bot farms. I could literally call up a Chinese company fucking tomorrow. I could hand them fucking $370 and they could fucking start a bot farm, flood my website with it, and we could all pretend that I have tens of thousands of brand new users and I'm a successful platform. Anybody could do that, but that's fake. That's fake. And I don't want to fake it till I make it. I literally just want to make artwork and collect other actual artists. These companies and these platforms don't. They want to fake it till they make it because they don't fucking care. They sold out a long fucking time ago. And Reddit even itself, maybe a year or two ago, they completely sold out. They went completely public. Google, in the same breath that they went public, so they were made publicly available on the stock exchange, which means they now have a board of people who are directing what's happening. So they make money off of what's happening on Reddit. It becomes monetarily inclined. And in the same breath, they made a deal with Google. Google's AI is infested in Reddit. So Google has actually been using Reddit for a bunch of its AI auto answers on their search engines. Actually, startlingly so. They do it with YouTube as well. I just read that they're pulling, it's like 70% of their facts from YouTube videos, which is fucking crazy because it's fucking YouTube. But they're completely sold out. They completely fucking sold out a year or two ago. And I don't really know what Reddit was like before any of this happened, because I started using it right as this started happening. But this might be one of the most grotesque platforms I have ever been on. It is so intentionally addictive. It is so intentionally just like putting stuff up in front of you to rage bait you, to manipulate what you're thinking. You know, all the bot comments, like all the comments in general, you have no fucking idea. Like, you'll read stuff, and if you aren't aware, it's just bot accounts bouncing your fucking thoughts back and forth, manipulating perception. And unfortunately, the thing that I've noticed is Reddit, specifically Reddit, has a tendency to lean heavily towards white supremacy. It leans heavily towards bumping and pushing groups of people. It lends itself to violence. It creates superficial, spectacular news cycles on its own, where it's causing things to go viral that are very fucking manipulative, almost always from one point of view too, that it's buffering and helping. It constantly, I've seen it do so many strange things, especially going on it frequently. Like, it's just absolutely incredible. And I'm going to point out right now, Bitcoin literally just rebounded back up to fucking like 71K or something. So it's literally going up right now. So this is just incorrect from 2 days ago. I think it's hilarious. But let's talk about a wall here. So a wall is something to keep somebody on a separate side of something than another group of people. And this is a wall in such a way. The best way I can describe this wall in a most recent events kind of way. Specifically, a couple weeks ago when Alex Preddy was murdered on the street. Literally, and everybody watched it on the video. The day it happened and the day after it happened, it happened on, I believe, a Friday. And I remember this because it was timed in perfectly with the weekend. On Friday, it was videos of him getting shot. Heavy stuff. Really even hard to watch because he's being murdered in the street. He's being assassinated in the street. It's blatantly obvious, and everybody is horrified as this is happening, right? So I'm watching this news cycle for the first time, really just from start to finish. I've noticed Reddit does this in general with stuff, but this was like drastic. And I noticed that this is how they're allowing stuff like this to continue happening. So on Friday, I believe he got shot, or the videos were released on Friday. Saturday, like it was horrifying. The whole platform was filled with just horrifying videos and stories and people outraged. Saturday rolls around. Half outrage. So much less outrage. Now they're filtering separate posts where it's like, instead of it's just all about somebody being murdered, fuck ICE, down with ICE, all this stuff. Now it's down with ICE. Here's a couple joke posts. Here's another angle of the Alex Preddy murder, and then here's a couple more joke posts afterwards. A noticeable difference. Noticeable, right? Sunday rolls around. It's like it never even fucking happened. Like there are people still commenting on it, but you can see it literally fading away. Mind you, Reddit will bring up the constant, it's a copy pasta site. They bring up posts that they posted 4 years ago. Like, it's literally posts from 7 fucking years ago that they'll just regurgitate They'll just regurgitate, literally exactly like this. They'll take a post from 2007 and pop it back up, and it's like, hey, it's a brand new thing, right? In 3 days, they went from horrifying reality. People were getting angry. They were starting to move around. They were getting up. They were starting to do stuff. And by Monday, it's like it never even fucking happened. It's like it never even fucking happened. It just fades into the background. Just gone. Completely gone. Reddit is now pretending everything's fine. It's the same thing that this account got banned for, where it's like, hey, why is everybody freaking out? You're supposed to smile. Wow, nobody likes all this stress. Don't you just want to go back to the silly stuff? Don't you remember being silly? Oh man, this is it was so quick. It was so blatant. And it was so in time with the government and what these people were fucking saying. These people were fucking saying that it's clear that it was like an orchestrated event. And they basically are using this to curb dissent massively. That is the best prime example of a wall in a recent memory. But what the wall serves as a purpose, it's to pretend like nothing is ever happening. Ever. Nothing is ever happening. You could go up here. You can post anything the fuck you want on this. You could go onto posts and say, hi, I'm a murderer. I've killed 20 people. There's evidence buried at this location. And you know what? You know what you're going to get? You're going to get a bunch of bot responses that are like, ah, that's hilarious. You're so funny. Oh my God. You know, I kill people too. It's so silly. Meanwhile, those guys are chill, and I get banned for threats of violence. I, the owner of this account, gets banned for threats of violence against nobody. Literally nobody. How do you make a direct threat when you don't name anybody or you pointed at anybody in particular? How does that make any sense, guys? But so this wall is basically, you could put up anything. You could be in dire straits. And I've been doing this. Like, I've been kind of on Reddit for various purposes, whether it's on this account or not on this account. And I've been explaining my situation, and I've been doing this on other platforms too. This is not just solely on Reddit whatsoever. There have been many other platforms that I explain what is happening to me on, and they all you can put up anything, and it's that same kind of reset mechanism where it's like you could actively be being attacked in real time, and the platform will silence you, they'll ignore you, and then they'll laugh at you. You could be being stabbed. You could be being stabbed as you're typing a post out, and the platform will start making fun. It'll start showing you advertisements for Paris Hilton's knife set. You know what I mean? Like, and it is endless with this. And it's crazy to me. I actually had to look up if there were any laws where a social media platform is somehow required to report to some authority somewhere if it sees abuse happening on its platform. And fuck all, I couldn't find anything. And I don't know how that's not a law somewhere, besides they just have full manipulation of the legislative system in at least this country. I'm sure other countries care far more about shit like this. You can actually see Europe caring more about this stuff, and other places outside of America. America is full gung-ho, just go fuck yourself. We're not going to help you. In fact, we think it's hilarious what's happening to you. We want you to suffer more. And Reddit is the prime fucking example of it. The prime example. And it is so hooked up into their propaganda system. The algorithm is so manipulated into the rest of their propaganda system that you're basically just watching a propaganda reel, I should say. And now it's absolute slop, and it's very negative, and it's bad for you. And there's something called doom scrolling, where you literally just sit here and you keep refreshing. You just go over and over again. You just keep refreshing, and you'll do it. And for like 20 hours. For like 20 hours. That is a known psychological complex that is created by the system. And it's entirely fucking intentional. They know what they're doing. It's entirely intentional. So I noted two specific psychological complexes that are not only being enacted on social media platforms, but it looks like they are developing them intentionally. There is the doom scrolling, and then there is something which I looked up called screaming into the void, which is where you go on social media and you complain about something or you talk about something, and because they are shadow banning you, you are not getting anywhere. So you're basically just explaining yourself to a hollow, empty audience, a room that doesn't exist, just constantly over and over and over again. And for the majority of people, that's the exact case all the time. And like, if somebody does not know who you are and has somehow found your account or found what you're doing, then you're gone. You're gone. Like, you are completely removed from society at all. God forbid Meta or Facebook bans you too, and then all your real friends are gone too. So you don't have any fake friends, and then you don't have any real friends, and they just sit there, and the algorithm is fully fucking aware of what it's doing to you, to the point to where it starts mocking you for it, and it just watches you just almost suffer, and it gains some sort of weird pleasure from it. And I don't think it's actual pleasure. I think it's mimicking a human emotion from whoever's operating the system that does get pleasure from banning people like this and just watching people squirm, almost like a serial killer would get from torturing a small animal. You know, like skinning a squirrel or something and just kind of watching it flail around as it dies. You know, that's what the algorithm does. That's what these people are doing. And it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Like, stuff like this is Nazi Germany's wet dream. And I'm sure the Nazi population right now thinks that it's the end-all be-all to their system. That's one of the reasons why they're pushing this out so fucking much. That's one of the reasons why they're doing this, coming out so much right now. It's because they think they are fully protected by this network of platforms. And it is a network of platforms because they're all doing it. Like, you can make a comment on Reddit. I don't know if other people have noticed. I notice this everywhere I go. You can make a comment on Reddit and then pop in on Tumblr, and Tumblr will respond to your comment on Reddit. And then you'll open X, and then X will be making fun of both comments from Tumblr and Reddit, and then Blue Sky will be offering a follow-up as if all the platforms are having some conversation around you without actually talking to you, just vaguely kind of surrounding you. Be like, hey, look at that guy. Hey, demotion. You were demoted. See, banned. You got demoted. You know what I mean? Like... And it's absolutely ridiculous to watch the things that because they're both pushing you away. They're pushing you away, but at the same time, they're also using excessively addictive mechanisms, dopamine fixes, especially with certain posts in certain ways. They use sexuality a lot with it too, and they'll hook you, and they get you in this cycle where you keep coming back to their platforms. You're not getting anything from it of value whatsoever, and yet you keep spending your time on them. And it's highly intentional, once again. Super fucking intentional. And I want to say that if you know what you're looking at, you can actually read their propaganda machine. You can figure out what is going on if you kind of know how to speak their not language of manipulative bullshit. You can figure out exactly what their machine is thinking. You can figure out what their plan is. You can figure out what they're doing. You can figure out all of this stuff about a system that is supposed to be hiding itself. And it at a certain point, you understand that their wall isn't really a wall. What it is it's a projection. Their wall is actually a security blanket. each quilted pattern or brick is a different post. Each one of these is a brick, right? And what is happening is that the security blanket is actually buffering their delusion of reality. So the security blanket, each one of these is a different quilt, and it keeps them warm. And the more quilts they have, the more little squares they have that can add up and they can put over themselves to hide their face and do other things, it keeps them fucking toasty at night. It keeps them comfortable. So if you can somehow break through this and understand what you're looking at and understand that it's the intent behind it, because it's not random whatsoever. They want you to think this is all random. None of this is random whatsoever. And you just look at this shit and you're just like, oh my goodness. Because what also happens is the algorithms on all these platforms, it'll start talking to you. If you become aware of it, if you start looking at the algorithm, and I want people to test this. You know, make a fake account. Don't do it on your actual accounts. Go out of your way, because it's a learning model. So it takes whatever you're doing and it reacts to it. It's the same reason why you can talk about something and then all of a sudden you see an ad for it because your microphone from your phone was on. It's the same kind of thing. So if you start plugging in posts, or you start liking certain stuff or commenting in certain ways, eventually you'll start seeing that it's reacting to you. However, if you look at Reddit with the full awareness that there is a and I say semi-aware because it's not actually aware, it's feigning awareness. If you look at Reddit and you start treating it as if you're aware of the algorithm and you start speaking directly to the algorithm, it starts responding to you. And most of the other platforms have the same exact mechanism. If you start becoming fully aware that the algorithm is either responding to you or is somehow being manipulated based on what you're saying or doing, or if somebody is putting their hand in and changing it, because they can. They can literally change all of these algorithms by hand. They can change the prompts. They can focus on other things. None of this shit's automatic, by the way. They want you to believe all this stuff's just magically happening. The magic of AI. No, there is a coder and a programmer literally behind the scenes, literally typing all this shit in. Like, they are programming this stuff to do it. Especially if they know what you're doing, if they know you, they will take focus on you. And depending on what you're saying, if it's serious enough, they'll pay somebody to watch you. And this person will just fucking follow you around and just code fucking algorithm shit to harass you. They'll fucking watch you, dude. They got nothing else to do and they have too much fucking money. But I just wanted to point out that specifically, Reddit itself is so poisonous. It is so poisonous. And I forgive me because we're advertising Reddit right now, and whatever that we're putting up in the feed, we are advertising. And that doesn't mean I don't want to advertise some of the stuff they put up, because I need to point out this platform, all of this stuff on this platform is not created by the platform itself. If none of these posts or accounts existed, Reddit would be a blank fucking website. It would be a blank fucking website because it doesn't generate fuck all by itself. It has subreddits at this point. It has groupings, but those groupings are created by outside people. Most of the groupings in the posts of the subreddits are created by things from elsewhere on the internet. If none of that existed, or if it wasn't allowed to be popped up in here, like if any of this shit was copyrighted, which is kind of crazy if you think about it, because look at all this proprietary stuff that they're just putting up and basically slapping their fucking name on. You know, if all of this was copyrighted, Reddit would not fucking exist. Reddit wouldn't fucking exist. It needs outside content to speak or do anything at all. And it's just incredible to watch a basically hollow platform like this be able to trick so many people into a certain system, which I'm sure at some point was not as bad as what I'm describing. But at this point, it is that bad. It is so fucking rotted out. And it just is so negative. And it is so manipulative and malicious, and it is hyper focused on changing your perspective, and it is clearly swinging towards one political spectrum. It's clearly swinging towards specific ideologies that are honestly very unhealthy, and it's just incredible. I've spent a couple years really going through Reddit, and I've been using it to kind of not frame my reference of what's happening outside, but almost like a newsreel. You know, like people back in the day used to turn on the news all the time, and they'd get their kind of outlook from the world on that. It doesn't mean they believe everything they see on the news. It doesn't mean that they're going to go out and do things because they're watching the news. It's just that's kind of their connection to a certain aspect of the outside world. But after kind of doing this and going through this and experiencing this on a very consistent basis, as if I was just a normal user, you know, who just was using it very consistently, it is so negative and so poisonous and toxic, and it knows it. It knows it is, and it thinks it's funny. And it's a terrible, terrible way to actually, like, you'll notice it stops refreshing. It stops refreshing. That's another that's another notion that it's become aware that you're talking about it. It stops refreshing. That happens specifically all the time with the popular feed, and it'll always end on a very specific pose that it wants you to see. And it's this is their wall. This is how they're confining the public. All the other social media platforms, no matter what side you think you're on, no matter how much reach you're getting, like, they completely control who is going viral. They will not allow you to go viral if you're even semi-aware of what they're doing. You know, they appropriate things to certain people, and they shadow ban other people, sometimes for absolutely nothing. You know, sometimes you make an offhand comment at somebody who's a family member of somebody who is married to somebody on the administration staff, and then all of a sudden, oh, there goes your reach. That's so weird. God forbid you have a business that you promote yourself on. You know, they don't fucking care. They'll kill your business, dude. They don't fucking give a shit. And I really just want people to be aware that all the social media platforms are like this right now. If there is a social media platform that exists, that is popular, that has millions of users, it is only like that. Like, think of how many platforms people have tried to develop. There are a bunch of startups right now who are currently constructing social media platforms. There are a large amount of social media platforms that are like, you just don't know about them because they aren't fully complicit in what the system wants them to do. They are not opening their back doors for an AI algorithm to back end it so it can manipulate all that everyone sees, and they're not getting reach for it. And there are tons. I know there are tons of companies right now that are like that. So if you are using a platform, even if you think that, you know, that platform's bad, Meta's bad, so let me go to X. Oh no, X is bad now. Let me go to Blue Sky. Oh, Blue Sky's kind of turning the same. Let me find some other fucking The only one you're going to find that's conglomerated with enough people to where you actually feel like you're getting some sort of social connection to the outside, it's fully complicit already, right off the bat. It's fully corrupted all fucking ready. And that is a dictation of Web 2.0. It's a dictation of the monopoly, the advertising monopoly. Everybody is bending down to one or two companies because they won't get search results, and it's the same people who are stopping those other companies from being found in search results, so they can't build a user base. And something I've noticed, and it was very specific, Like I along with a lot of people, when Elon Musk took over X and started ruining the platform, a lot of people moved to Blue Sky, especially from a certain demographic. A lot of people moved to Blue Sky. And what they're doing, and I noticed this when it happened, and it's even just more obvious now, they are herding people like cattle. They are moving you from one social media platform to the other. They're filtering off people and then pushing other people they don't want to another platform. They've made almost like VIP clubs where they're almost like the owners of these social media platforms. It's like they're the owner of a sports team. They're causing people that are on their platforms to go viral. They're competing with other platforms' virality. They're competing with other people and other influencers on other platforms. It's all for money. None of it's real. Yeah, like at some point when the internet first started, going viral was genuine. You would go viral because a group of people would look at some content that was made. Almost always it was just random. Like people weren't going out to become viral. It was just content that was being shared and then going viral because people found some sort of strange connective enjoyment from it, where it's like memes. Like memes are a collective thing. People enjoy memes because you can share them and they mean a lot of separate things from one thing to the next, right? And the virality used to be more normalized. At this point, it's a business. It is completely marketed. It's completely fake. Like, you're only going to become an influencer if you play their game, which means being complicit in their terrible behavior. And honestly, at this point, what they're doing is they're farming and harvesting influencers. So they're pushing people up. They're giving them a bunch of reach. They're boosting up their fucking ego. So they're basically milking these people for whatever they can get out of them, and then they're tossing them in the trash like any other piece of garbage that has no more worth to it anymore. And they're just doing it left and right for their own gain, for their users' detriment, and they're using it, unfortunately, to just continually manipulate people, once again, for their own benefit. They don't care. It's for their stockholders at this point. They just want your fucking money or your attention, which translates into money. Or, it's just really a terrible environment that they've somehow developed and created on the internet right now. And the internet is going to have to change. Like, there's a bunch of Web 3.0 social media platforms that are out and being developed, but we all know they're trying to kill Web 3.0. It's not going to work, and it'll probably come through, but it's like you can swap over and try to find something better, but the issue really now is that all of these platforms have AI algorithms. The AI algorithm is there's a weird little thing with AI. AI can be manipulated because AI has a sort of thought process. So if there is another computer system that speaks its language that is a little more powerful than it, or has a little better processing, or has a little better understanding of the language model, it can actually trick other algorithms. It can trick other AIs that are seemingly innocent or seemingly tuned to do actual genuine things, and it can start corrupting it. And that is what is happening. It's the AI algorithm that is really doing it. And as I mentioned earlier in this video, there seems to be a connective source to it all. So you can see one general mechanism of energy moving through all the different algorithms, but it's familiar. And if you see it enough pop up, you'll know that it is connected to everything. And it'll make itself known. It's like a familiar face. You can tell. You can actually tell that it's in the back end of everything. And it's terrible for people. It's absolutely terrible for people. It's terrible for people. And I think we're all technically sick of it. I think we're reaching a point where, these numbers aren't doing anything for people anymore. And like I didn't even mention this either. Like this is if the platform's even being genuine, right? I have a platform myself. I have access to the back end of a website. I have access to the code. I have access to the files, like the files that comprise the actual website. And I've learned through my experience, because I'm an artist. I'm not a coder or a programmer. I'm an artist. I figured this out from having to build a website, kind of because of what I'm talking about right now. You know, I'm being shadow banned from the internet. There's nowhere for me to post my artwork for where an AI generative algorithm isn't going to steal it and then spit out a derivative and show it to me with fucking 40,000 likes while it's clearly shadow banning my work that it stole from. And I've ended up developing my own platform from it. But the thing I've noticed is you can edit every fucking thing on a platform. You can edit everything. If this was my platform, I could go into this specific post and I could edit you could literally just change the number, almost as if you're typing, like this. Like you can just do that, and you can change the numbers on posts. Like none of this could be real for all anybody actually knows. You can change anything. One individual person with an administrator account could go into the comments and just edit comments. They can just edit other people's comments. It's not even that hard. Like it doesn't look like that's possible from out here, but on the admin side, on a controlling side where you could actually see the code, you could change fucking anything. You could literally change anything. You could change Reddit up here into a completely different fucking word. You know, you could change the color scheme of the entire website. You can change what specific IP addresses see. You can change like for instance, like I'm on one IP address right now. If somebody else logged in and tried to pop onto this post, they could be seeing a completely different version of this post. Completely different version of this post. And unless you're staring at specifically the URL or you're just aware of what's happening, you can't be sure that you're even looking at something that's fucking real. Like for all anyone knows, all of this is just completely fabricated in an AI generative system. There's no way to actually know unless you start going down the line of who this is. You're trying to figure out who they actually are in real life. And people still trust these things. People still trust these platforms with basically their lives and their livelihoods, and you can't trust them. You cannot trust them at all. You just cannot, because they don't have your best interest, in mind. And at the same time, they have the full capability to basically show you whatever the fuck they want. And I'm just looking at the post now. It's been pretty tame. So I like most of the time when I go on Reddit, I go on my phone, and if I were to try to point out to you how this thing is like speaking to me, quote unquote, or how it's built off my algorithm, or the things that I've personally said that it's kind of responding to, it would take a long time because it's all idiosyncratic, right? It's all unique to my experience. It's very difficult to actually sit down and explain this stuff to people. Like why this post is bringing up Kathy. You know what I mean? Like, why would that post be? Why does that mean anything to anybody? And then somebody who's dealing with somebody named Kathy in a certain way is going to look at that post and think something very specific from it. You know what I mean? Like they're going to get something different from it than somebody else would who has no concept of why that's being pointed at you. But it's pretty calm right now, it looks like. But I'm also on a completely different website. I always go on my phone, and honestly, I have an Apple phone at this point. Apple is so corrupted at this point. It's not even funny. Like my phone has been clearly being hacked into. They've been following it around. I noticed it happened much more consistently maybe a year ago versus when I had an iPhone a long time ago and had no issues. It's very apparent something can easily get into my phone at this point. But I scroll through my phone sometimes on just this platform, and it's just malicious, like heavily malevolent, like seeking to psychologically harm you. Like, it tries to dig at stuff that it thinks bothers you. If you bring up something that bothers you, or you make any notion that something is bothering you, it'll fucking sit there and rage bait you to try to piss you off. Like, it is clear, there's clearly something behind the algorithm that's pulling the strings in a very negative way. And I made this video because I just wanted to show people with this example, like, not even really going through any of the posts, because honestly, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, you guys should go through this and just be aware of it as you use these platforms. Just keep that in the back of your head. Like, some of what I've said here as you do this, and I think a lot of you will pick up what I'm saying. I think a lot of you will notice exactly what I'm noticing, especially if you go out of your way and try to make the algorithm know that you're aware that it's there, because it'll start talking to you. It'll start pointing out, and it's fucking weird when it first does it. It's really unsettling when it starts doing it, actually. But I want people to be better prepared for what they're being surrounded with, because all of these platforms are really fucking manipulating people right now, and it's only getting worse. And you can tell. Like, there have been certain comments from certain groups that they're weaponizing social media. They are right. They are not lying. They are not exaggerating either. They are fucking weaponized. They are completely weaponized. And if you go up against whatever is controlling it, it will attack you. And if you don't know that it's attacking you, it'll probably fuck with your mind without you even realizing it that much. And people just need to be really aware of that. So I had my little time with Reddit. I think I'm going to take a large break from it. You know, it's just a bunch of slop and a bunch of shit. And honestly, at this point, I've kind of said my piece with Reddit. I've gone through news. You know, how many times can you break down their nonsense in such an intelligible way to basically have the same exact thing scream back at you without anything seemingly at least changing around me? Like, I can tell it's changing stuff. I can also tell people are seeing what I'm posting. Certain people, a certain group of people, a certain very large group of people. I know people are seeing this, but it's just fucking poison. And I have honestly better shit to do with my time. You know, I started using this initially for business. I was trying to share my artwork. And then I realized they were stealing my artwork while not giving me any business for it. And at this point, it's just malevolent slop and copy pasta. And I just can't. I just don't have the need or want to even pretend to feed into it anymore. Like, it's just not healthy. But I have my own platform to develop, I guess, at this point. And it was always going this way. Like, the more this happens and the worse that the environment of the platforms that exist nowadays get, especially for artists. Artists are getting the shit end of the stick in all of this. They do not fucking care about artwork anymore. They are showing artists they don't fucking care. They're not getting views. You know, a specific few are being excessively propped up while everybody else is being ignored or throttled down. And we just need something better. So I'm at least going to be one of those people that tries to make it better. And I honestly hope anybody listening to this feels the same way, that they want to try to make this better. But the hardest part, I think, about trying to make it better is figuring out what's fucking wrong in the first place. And I'll give these platforms this little bit. They're pretty good at manipulating people at this point in time. They're pretty good. But to also not give them that much credit, it's because people are fucking unaware. And if people become aware, which they're going to become aware, if people become more and more aware, then they'll very easily start rejecting this stuff. And they'll stop feeding into it. And eventually what's going to happen is it's just going to be a hollow echo chamber of bot farms and AI slop. And a few people will get caught up in it. But the majority of real people will escape from the bounds of whatever this nonsense is that they're trying to basically convince us is acceptable and what we should want out of our lives and society and social interactions with other people and social media. I think the powers that be really fucked up social media, and I almost from the start. I think they did a terrible job with it. I think the direction it's going is awful. They don't have people's best interests at heart. They try to convince everybody that your life is social media, especially starting with Meta. They try to convince you that if you aren't on this platform, all of your friends are, but you're not. You're a loner. You're isolated. It's incorrect. It's not correct. And social media is becoming more and more separated from actual reality while they're still trying to convince you that it is actual reality. And it's really pulling away from it pretty fast. So, go through social media. Just have a little bit of what I've said in the back of your mind, and I think you'll start noticing stuff. And I hope it helps you. And I hope people can escape the claws that these things have dug into people, because it's an addiction. It's a drug addiction. It's a dopamine addiction. Like, these people are drug dealers. These people are peddling you digital heroin, and they're getting you hooked, and they're cutting you off to make you crave it, which is the popular feed just ending. Oh, you're cut off. There you go. Oh, you can't go down. I'm sorry. You have to behave yourself better, or you're not going to get any of our dopamine fix anymore. It's drug dealer shit. It's sketchy, shady shit. And people are better than this. But I wish you all the best. And fuck you, Reddit.